Okay, I've had my A-liner for almost 2 years now, and I'm just decided to do this video on things that you may do and that hopefully I can prevent you from doing. These are mistakes that you've made when you were getting ready to put your camper up or you're towing it or anything like that. So these are some of the lessons that I've learned, and we'll go step by step through them, and hopefully this will prevent you from making some of the same mistakes. One of the mistakes that almost every A-liner owner that has a air conditioner is they will have to come in here and they'll hit the old turn on button, and for some reason it doesn't get cool in here. Well, we've all learned, I think, people that had them, that you have to remove this cover first. So that is a mistake that everybody seems to make. I've done it a few times myself, wonder why it didn't get cool, and have to remove that cover. One mistake that we've made in the past is thinking that we need to put stuff all in here to store, up here on the floor. And we've learned, and this may not be a mistake, but if you can store that stuff underneath your bed or in the front, it's always better. It makes it easier to get in and out of here to put the camper up in a hurry. And we've kind of slimmed ours down to where we just have these two little items here, and that's it. So again, that's not a big mistake, but in our case it makes it harder to put up if you've got a lot of stuff stored inside of here. So if you try to just keep this area clear, it seems to work out better. Another mistake we had happen to us one time is you have a tendency to crank these cranks up, and if you only take them up here and you just barely let them set like that, we've had this actually vibration force it almost all the way back down to the ground while we're driving down the road. Make sure that whenever you put these up, you take it and give it not really hard, but just enough that it kind of seeds up against there nice and tight, and that way that won't come down when it starts vibrating. It's good and attached, and it doesn't have a bounce factor to it. Another mistake that we've made is we have the cable, and some people have the metal wind protection, and we've actually left that attached on this other side, and when we go to lift up here, we try to push up and it won't go, and we're like, what is wrong with this? So if you're having to force yourself, make sure you come back out and check to make sure you've got those tie downs from the back up to the front. And like I say, you never want to force anything. If it seems like you're forcing it, then you need to make sure you've got everything the way it needs to be. Okay, another problem we had is one time we were trying to put this roof down. We got to this point here, and it seemed like it wouldn't go any further. We like to force it. Again, if we're forcing it, something's not right. If you notice, the door is open. So when you stepped out of that door, you need to make sure that door is swung back around on the top and not folded down, because that leaves an 1.5 to 2 inch gap there, and your top will not go down. So again, the rule is if you're having to force it, something's not right. Okay, another thing I had a problem with is your latch right here. If you notice, I'll pull this shut, and if you find you can't get this door to latch, well, in this case, the latch actually missed. It didn't actually latch where it needs to latch right here. Now the door will shut all the way. So one time we had trouble getting that door to latch, and we realized that wasn't actually latched in the right place. It was actually latched up front like that. So again, the door won't snap shut. So again, don't force anything. One other mistake, and we haven't made this mistake, but we've heard of people that make it, is you pull into a campsite late at night, you're pretty level, and you leave it attached to your car, and you have this plug plugged into your car. Well, we've always heard that unplug this plug and just run off your battery within your camper, don't run this when it's still plugged into your car, because I've heard it'll actually pull the electricity from that car battery before it pulls the battery that's actually on the camper. So again, if you're just going to leave it attached, make sure you disconnect this. Another thing we do on this, we've never had a problem with it. When we attach it, we have either zip ties, or we have something that goes around this that holds that in place. That way it won't come loose when it's jiggling down the road and drag and tear it all up. Now, one thing some people I've heard doing, and we haven't had this problem, but some people forget to take this wheel off of here. They'll bring this up and leave that wheel attached. Make sure you disconnect that wheel. In our case, we're using the jacky up, so this whole column comes out and the wheel goes into the back of our car, so we don't have to worry about that. But always make sure that wheel's off of there, because you will hit it first. Your first big bump will jar it, and you'll know you did something wrong. Now, these were a few of the problems that we encountered over the last 2 years. Obviously, when you get the thing down, you want to latch the 2 latches on each side. You want to put your this step up. Sometimes that step will actually come down when you're heading down the road. You want to look back every once in a while to make sure that doesn't happen. Not a big deal if it does. It's just going to bounce around a little bit there. But these are some of the things we've had go wrong, and I hope this helps out people that are just getting an A-liner, or maybe it's something you haven't thought about when you're out. And put in the comments some of the things that might have happened to you through the years that others can look at and say, well, we don't want that to happen. So that's about all I got. Leave me anything you got on comments, and have a good trip out there camping.